Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vegan Tour Guide Podcast with your host, Mike Knight, where we'll bring you great information about a vegan plant-based diet. It doesn't matter if you've been vegan for years, part-time vegan, or just gathering more information. This podcast is for you. Thanks again for joining, and let's get today's tour started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vegan Tour Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Knight. Hope you're having a phenomenal week. Hey, for all my regular listeners, welcome back. And for the new listeners, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. This is the show that's for everyone. And what we mean by that is what we're going to do is we meet everybody where they're at. You may just be gathering information about, a plant-based vegan diet, lifestyle, or you may have already been doing this for maybe, a little bit of time and you're just wanting to know some more information, maybe more ideas. You may have questions about, hey, why isn't this working for me? And you may have been doing, a plant-based, vegan diet lifestyle for a while. Doesn't matter where you're at. These shows are for you to bring you relevant information and inspiration to continue doing so and help spread the word to others, because that is the goal. That's why I do this. And it's also about bringing you just stories. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get people's stories about, their journey, to going to plant-based vegan and what inspired them, why they did it, what motivated them. And also, maybe because of that motivation, what they did in turn. And that brings us to today. That brings us to Brenden. What Brenden did is he's got a great story in that, he went to a plant-based, vegan diet, started doing it, and he was so inspired by that, and then also saw within the marketplace what he thought was an area, that needed, a product. And so not only did he himself go, plant-based vegan, he then said, you know what? I want to make a difference. I want to provide something that I think is missing. And so that's what he did. He came up with Planet Protein. And so you're going to hear all about that. You're going to hear about his story, Planet Protein, what he's doing, what his goals are coming up. Of course, you're going to hear, his tricks of the trade, if you will. I always love to tell people about maybe, what he loves eating, his favorite recipes, stuff like that. Because, again, I always find these resonate with people, and it brings it great information. So thank you so much. As everybody knows, and just for you first-timers, so you also know now, you can find past episodes and everything at vegantourguide.com. Always email us at vegantourguide@gmail.com. And so, without further ado, sit back and get ready to hear from Brenden.
All right, we're live, brother.
All right, sounds good.
So, Brenden, welcome to the Vegan Tour Guide. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, looking forward to it. Especially since you sent me those Rockstar Awesome Protein bars, man. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Which flavor did you like most?
I tell you what, I like the cherry almond.
Cherry almond, yeah, that's my favorite as well.
Yeah, I like that. They're both Rockstar, but I like them a little bit better.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, man. What's been going on? Just start me off. And start the listeners to kind of,
Yeah. So I guess I'll get
Planet Protein, where it started.
I'll jump in and kind of give you a little background on myself, and
yeah,
I do want to hear more about you because I didn't really do my homework as much as I should have. So, my name is Brenden Fitzgerald. I have been in Florida here for about 4 years now. Originally from Michigan. I spent about 5 years in the Marine Corps infantry. I was a leader for the majority of that time. Jumping in and out of different industries after that, sales, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And as you know, how long have you been vegan anyway?
About 6 years.
6 years now. Wow, that's
yep.
amazing. Were you vegetarian before that?
No, man. It's I tell people to my show, they know me, man. I'm a meathead wrestler, and so I definitely was not.
Yep. Well, that was same thing. I was eating meat 3 times a day.
Yep.
I was an athlete, soccer player, basketball player, and I was not seeing the results I wanted to see. But let's kind of slow down. Netflix, one night, random night in April. This was actually April of last year. I started watching Vegucated. I got hooked. I watched Cowspiracy. I was hooked. I woke up that next morning and I was like, there's no way I'm touching meat again. So that, cold turkey overnight vegan.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, oh man, life changing, to be honest. 4 days later, I catch myself eating a Cliff Bar, and I'm like, this thing isn't really doing it for me,
Yeah.
It was, not to bash Cliff Bar so much, but it was, high in sugar, and I was looking at it like a Snickers bar as I started to read the nutritional value. More people are doing that. They're picking up the bars, the packaging, they're looking at the facts, ingredients, they're reading, and consumers are really aware. So I said, hey, why don't I just create a healthy bar that's plant-based, has a sufficient amount of protein in it to sustain you, and that's kind of where we're at. 11 months later, we're looking to launch in May. So
that is so cool. I mean, so was it one of those things you just kind of started experimenting with recipes and all like that? I'm just curious, kind of, even I know it may sound silly, but just kind of the opening details on kind of how that path even starts.
It's a lot of just doing it, and I wanted to create a business for about 5 years before that, and I really didn't know what I wanted to get into. I didn't know my passions. I understood business, but I didn't understand myself. And I can really credit Vision for that all the way. So, I kind of figured out what I wanted to do. Did some research. I've always been kind of self-taught. I am a college dropout, and I kind of just hopped online, Google, and researched like crazy. And then kind of from there, it just took off. We put in the work, worked about 16-hour days, just for the first 3 months. It took us to nail down the 2 flavors. It took us a few months to get that final. But once we got them, I knew exactly what I was going to do. And, people love them. You obviously enjoy them.
Yeah,
so
I think they really are good. Yeah. No, I really like them, man. Yes. All right. So bring up, tell me the name and how you came up with that name.
Okay. So I was actually sitting in the kitchen with my ex-girlfriend, and I have to give her credit. She helped with the name a little bit. I won't say any names, but she did help. And it kind of, I didn't think, I'm like, well, let me go check it on the trademark site. Let me go check around. There's no way that it's out there, and it was out there. So it kind of just worked out one night.
Cool.
Planet Protein, and we actually partnered with 1% for the Planet. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them.
No, huh?
Okay, so they're a really large organization. The founders work with Patagonia. They founded Patagonia, and they just kind of got together with a bunch of different profit and non-profit organizations that want to help the planet, preserve the forest, the water, whatever it is, whatever part you want to play. We're going to give back 1% of our annual revenue to help. So there's a mission there. We want to help the planet, but we want to help people as well. We want to inspire to eat healthier, and we want to motivate people. If you catch me on Instagram, you see I'm kind of always motivating people and inspiring and staying positive. So it's kind of a message.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's where you and I connected. Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, Instagram. I said, yeah, I like your posts.
Yeah. I keep up with yours. I enjoy them. So I think we're on the same wavelength, in terms of wanting to give back and help each other out. So it's nice.
No, you're right, man. Because that's kind of, for me, what it was all about. Still is, and that's why I'm doing this. It's just, I want to spread the word, spread knowledge and information, just to get it out there to people. Sometimes, there's some people out there that have the DNA wiring you do that can go, cold turkey overnight, which is awesome. And there's some people, it takes them, they take steps, they face things out. And to me, everything is awesome. It's steps in the right direction, and you and I, when we give them information, and they see that it can be easy. Because I have more people that just tell me they still, quote, assume that it's hard. And that's their biggest hurdle. And that's what I love, giving information out there. They're like, really? You can do it? I'm like, yeah, because everyone's like, man, what do you eat? And I'm like, everything. And they're like, man, when you go out, are there special restaurants you have to go to? I'm like, no. I go anywhere, man. Like, for instance, there's Chili's now, all across the country. Chili's has an awesome quinoa dish.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like quinoa wheatberry blend or something like that. It rocks. I mean, you can get this stuff everywhere,
Yeah, it is everywhere. And it's funny because you label it vegan, and people are like, what's that? What's vegan food? And it's like, it's everything you're eating minus the meat and the dairy. And they're like, oh, really? So, like, carrots and salad? I'm like, yeah, but also your sweet potatoes, your mashed potatoes, your greens, your beans. So, it's great, man. It's great educating people because they do think it's like some, out of the norm diet or lifestyle. I don't really like to call it a diet. It's more of a lifestyle to me. But if you want to say a diet, it's getting people to eat plant-based. Just more plants. More plants, the better, I like to say.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's funny you said, I agree with you 100%. I said the same thing. I'm like, lifestyle. Because it is. You start making these changes, and I tell people, look, I know that like me and you both are using the word lifestyle, and sometimes, that term gets thrown around, a little bit loose, and people think that means all these crazy changes. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I said, ironically enough, you just start making small changes, and they on their own will start kind of doing things in your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not what people think. It's like, do I have to wake up and, follow a 42-step process every day? Like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, it is all good. I mean, it's,
the advice I like to give people if they're interested, because I do get a lot of messages now. Basically, hey, try it out for 3 weeks. They say it takes 21 days to break a habit, and tell me how you feel.
Uh-huh.
And I think the biggest mistake that people make is they malnourish themselves because they're not educated. I mean, when I first went vegan overnight, I was eating rice and beans every day simply for the sole reason that I didn't want to eat meat, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I needed the green side of things, every day as well. So, I've definitely come a long way in the last year. Well, it's a year next month that I'll be fully vegan. And, I just want to help people, and I want to help them, eat cleaner, get, mental clarity. I really want them to see that other side of life that I think a lot of us see with simply what's on your plate.
Yep. Well, let's take it to you then. We'll keep jumping around, but I like this. So since you are kind of like you said, the 1 year, almost 1 year mark and all, take us to the beginning. What were like maybe some of the first changes you noticed right out of the gate? And maybe even, was there anything you thought would be hard that surprised you that wasn't, and maybe vice versa?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry for jumping around, but this is...
No, dude, I love it. I love it.
Stuff to love,
No, dude, don't worry. Anyone that listens to my podcast show, they know. Look, I am, shiny things. So.
Yeah, perfect. No, the thing I struggled with most in the beginning, was probably in the gym. I was kind of weary about plant-based diet in the gym, getting my protein, and I think that was another reason that I created the bar that played into it was the protein factor. But as after about a couple months, my body started to really, because it's a process, man. I mean, once you eat meat for 25 years, your body is so used to processing those animal proteins. I lost a little bit of weight. I lost a little bit of muscle at first. And I'm like thinking to myself, is the spinach working? I'm not sure. And, but I knew I didn't want to eat meat. So I kept going through it. I expanded my diet, more greens, more fruits, and more grains, more seeds. Once I did that, my body got used to it after, that first month or two, and it started to really learn how to break down the plant protein. And now I've been consistently in the gym. I mean, I only go to the gym probably 4 or 5 days a week, cardio the rest. And it's, the results are just, that shaped my life. Even compared to in the Marine Corps or playing soccer, I'm definitely at the leanest moments on the plant-based diet.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because that's, like one of my best buds, we were talking, and this is even just, a couple years back, at that point, I'd done, 3 or 4 years or whatever, and he was sitting there talking one night. We were all out at dinner, and he and I grew up wrestling together. And he went on to be like in college, I mean, 2-time All-American, I mean, mega stud. And he was like, man, I got to tell you, I want to learn more about it. He goes, because, man, I've known you a long time. And he goes, you are actually now in your early 40s, and you are in as good, if not better shape, he goes, than when you and I were growing up, working out, you know, like in high school, even college years. You know, what a lot of people would call peak level, you know, to be, you know, perform at that level. He goes, man, you know, so it's been fun. You know, I'm with you, man. It really, you get on it, and that's what trips people out. I was even doing for a while, like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and started doing tournaments. And I tell people, I laugh about it. I started calling, you know, plant-based vegan, you know, like my plant-based vegan steroids, because, it leaned me down because, you know, all those contests I entered were by weight. Well, I naturally leaned down, but all my reps in the general were the same level, if not slightly increased in some areas, as when I was 15 pounds heavier. Yeah. And so when I went in the mat, guys would lock up with me, and I was throwing dudes around, like, right, and every one of them after the mat would be like, dude, what did you do? You know, that's when I just felt, man, it's a plants, man.
No, no, are you big into yoga or anything like that?
Yeah, I started doing more and more yoga. It's kind of like you said. It's and you and I were talking earlier, the lifestyle thing. Just things kind of start happening naturally. Like for me, I started gravitating to where I started incorporating meditation into my life. I mean, there's a lot of different meditations out there. Personally, I do transcendental meditation, but there's a lot of great ones. Not just resonating with me.
I have a funny story about meditation. I was outside this morning, you know, meditating a little bit myself. And, you know, I have my eyes closed and the sun's beaming, and I look up, and here's the homeowner's insurance adjuster just staring at me. And they're like, well, I wasn't sure if you were meditating or what you're doing. I didn't want to say that. I was meditating, but it's okay. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I love it. It's you know, you're right. You're exactly right when you say it's a lifestyle you have, because, I mean, I was never doing yoga. I would laugh at guys doing yoga in the gym, you know, and you really just get this new profound look on life. It's kind of like almost turning a new leaf when you when you eat clean, you know, and you eat vegan, and, you know, you start to care. I mean, even people that just go vegan for health, I think they really gain that sense of care and compassion for animals, you know, in a month or 2 months or 4 months after. It all starts connecting for everyone, and we kind of get on the same wavelength. So it's really spread the wealth, spread the health, and go vegan.
Yep. I'm with you. You're exactly right, because I think what it does kind of, and what you were talking about, is that, you know, you start looking, if you will, more, you know, within yourself, if that kind of makes sense, to where because everyone, for instance, like they talk about the health and what really to me is a crisis with the whole healthcare system and all like that. And, you know, that whole system is designed to always look at these external things. It's like, you know, trying to fight something off instead of, hey, why don't we look to prevent things? And the number one thing is food, the fuel. Let's look there instead of all these other places. And then you start looking at, like you said, working out. And I'm the same way. I never would do yoga and all. And then the biggest irony is yoga, if you use the right way, you can actually make, if that's your goal, you know, guys lifting heavy can actually make gains better on yoga because it stretches the muscles out so they can grow. Guys forget, if you get muscle bound, you know what I mean, without a lot of stretching, you actually plateau, where yoga actually helps you make gains.
I 100% agree. I'm glad you said that. Yep. I've actually been noticing that personally, you know, from doing yoga 3 times a week now, that the stretching is just unbelievable. And then, you know, it does allow you to grow those muscles. So if you want to make gains, bro, go to yoga.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, you know, so you've been, you know, moving through the process and all like that. and, building the bar. All right, so you said we're getting ready to do what, a big release? So you're close to like the big release, and what is that going to entail? I'm just kind of curious as to what, come out of the gate, your goals are, and, what that looks like.
No, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I lost you there.
No. With right now, I know you were talking earlier with the bars.
Yeah.
And where we're wanting to go with Planet Protein, are you going to be like maybe East Coast first? Or are you going all across the U.S. or anything outside of that? I'm kind of curious, just the first wave, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you asking. I envision this Planet Protein as a brand more than a product ever.
Mm-hmm.
We're a lifestyle brand. We're a movement, and we want to be everywhere. Planet Protein. We want to be the planet. So we're starting off in the United States. We're launching the U.S. in May, and then we're looking to expand Canada and the United Kingdom towards the end of the year, early next year. So once we roll out of the gates, the majority of our business is going to be e-commerce driven. But we do have, we have agreements with local retail chains here in Florida. We're working on the national distribution. So we're kind of still in the process. We have some partners that we're working with that will get it distributed. So it's a matter of time. We're going through a rebrand right now. So our new look, our new logo, it's really cool, and I can't wait to feel like all of you guys. So that's soon.
Nice. So, all right, and I know sometimes these things, and I totally get it, when you're working on it, you keep them, you play the cards close to the vest. But is there anything beyond bars yet? Are you going to focus on bars and kind of get traction, and get your first launch out of the way, and then, like you said, launch to other things?
Yeah, so we're gonna launch with the two flavors, cherry almond fudge, and it's gonna be a peanut butter cup. We're gonna launch with those two, and we have a nut-free bar that's gonna follow up soon after. And then we're gonna have a few more flavors. I'm working on a powder. We're gonna have a couple more supplements that I really can't say. They're kind of surprise products. We're gonna test the market with some new things. I think people are so used to the traditional powders and bars, and I want to give people access to protein from exotic fruits or seeds or stuff like that. So we're gonna play around and work on some stuff, but we definitely are going to offer a full line of products in the near future.
Nice. All right. So I know the number one question, obviously going to be, the answer to this question would be the bars. But besides the bars, what's your favorite thing? What are you still kind of, because I love this fact, because I know also your story is going to, impact a lot of people that listen to this that are just now starting and just, have been not too long, if you will, plant-based or even transitioning. So what does your kind of daily look like? What are you doing as far as eating and all like that? What are your favorite go-to meals?
No, see, I've been staying away from my bars. They're locked up, and I don't have the key. So, and my team has actually kicked me out. Actually, I've been eating mostly raw. Over the past few weeks, it's been about 3 smoothies a day, big smoothies. I'm talking 1,000-calorie smoothies. And then I'll have maybe 1 or 2 meals in between. And one's mostly raw meal, and then the other might be like a veggie burger or something like that. So my go-to raw meal is a smoothie, 100%. I mean, I've been on that Vitamix every day.
Any favorite recipes?
I love making the hemp milk. So I have part. And I think, so I guess I'll break it down for you and the viewers, listeners, I'm sorry. You have 2 dates, put in the mixer, blender, put some hemp hearts or hemp seeds, water, vanilla, sea salt, mix it up, it makes like a frothy milk, and then you start adding in frozen bananas, peanut butter powder, and mangoes, and spinach, and kale. Add some more water, mix it up, there's your smoothie. I mean, keep it that basic, but pile as much as you can, and there's a huge smoothie, and it'll fill you up and give you the nutrients you need for 2-3 hours.
Man, I like that. Yeah, I switched over myself to the hemp protein. I started interviewing David Carter, the 300-pound vegan.
Oh, yeah.
I interviewed him, and he started talking about it. I was like, all right, what do you do? And he goes, all right, hemp protein. I was like, all right, note to self. I'm just going to follow his path, okay? Switch. And so, it was cool.
No, it's good to see. It's good to see more and more people speaking up and, making a voice in the vegan community.
It is. I mean, it's. I love the way it's growing, and like I said, I'm with you. I love a lot of the movies that are out there because, like, your story is one I hear a lot of people that come across the movie. And it changes. I told the story a few episodes ago where a good buddy of mine, me and some guys were hanging out. He shows up at the house, comes in, and he's like, "Hey, Knight." He goes, "Man, I'm all in." I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm all in. Total vegan now." And he was going to go, gradual. And I was like, "Really? That's awesome." Of course, and I'm like, "All right, well, what instigated the change?" He goes, "Man, I was sitting there at the house, like you. I turned on Netflix." He goes, "I started watching a couple of those." He goes, "Man," he goes, "I like animals." He goes, "I just never thought about it."
Yeah.
With what I'm eating. He goes, "Man," and he's one of those real nice guys. I mean, he's just in life, and always had like a dog, just dog. I mean, animal lover. And he goes, "I just never put two and two together. What was on my plate and how it got there." He goes, and a lot of people like that. We're just conditioned, that we never stop to think, how did X, Y, or Z get to where they're at? How did that piece of bacon get to my plate?
I say this all the time. I say thank you, social media, for coming into our existence and allowing anyone to find proper education at a click of a button. It's unbelievable how much information you can gather from social media in such a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And I think without social media, veganism wouldn't be where it's at today.
Oh, I agree 100%. You're right. Because I think it allows us, just like you were saying, to spread that information and people to educate themselves and find out just the real truth to make their own decisions. Like I tell people every single time, it's on my website and all, I'd rather have someone tell me, quote, I'm not going to go plant-based vegan all the way now or, gradual or just not for me yet. However, they're doing it just for whatever type of reason they have, but it's like personal or whatever. Instead of someone saying, well, I heard it's unhealthy. No, it's not. That we can talk about, and I got a lot of information where it's incredibly healthy for you. Or someone saying I can't get protein. No, no, we got a lot of information. You definitely get way more protein than you need, and there's even cool kind of protein myth, if you will, as to how many gazillion grams of protein we need anyway. But that's a whole different topic. It's all this stuff, and I'm like, that's what I want for people. If you're going to make a decision, make the decision based off true, real facts and evidence, and then I'm all for you. I have no beef, with anybody. Pardon that pun, but you know what I mean.
I agree.
I'm fine with it just as long as, and that's what you said. Going back to what you said about social media. Now we have this platform where people can get that information to make these decisions, and more of them, when they hear it, go, oh. And light bulb goes off and they go, you know what? I am going to go. And I do now see I can do this. And I know there's ways I can find to help me.
That's exactly what happens. That light bulb, it just switches on and it's like, whoa. And then you start really becoming conscious of all your decisions in life, I think. So, it's great. I mean, to get people, it's funny. I have a really good friend of mine. He's the farthest from vegan that you can be. And, but he runs every day, every morning.
Uh-huh.
And he's been actually, on me. Hey, when are you launching? I need more bars. When do you launch it? I need my bars. And I'm like, dude, I'm working on it. Trust me. But I look at it now, and I've created a product that's not only going to help you, your health, and your performance. It's going to help, your decision making to maybe go vegan. Or eat more plant-based, because now it's a convenient option that's full of plant protein and plant-based ingredients up in your hand, and anytime you want it. So, it's convenient for people, and I just hope that people enjoy it and it fills them up. and we can help preserve the planet. That's it.
That's awesome. I love it. All right. So look, where is it? Let's tell everybody where to find you and help support you as you're launching this. So where do we want everybody to go to check you guys out?
Okay. So like I said, we're going through a rebrand. We just secured the new domain .com. That was kind of out there for a while. It's ours. The new website's in the works. Your best bet right now would be Instagram. So we're on Instagram.com/planet_protein. Our Twitter handle, same thing, planet_protein. So those are the two that I'm on the most, and I'm running it personally. And I do interact with everybody on there. So if you want to get on and shoot me a message or shout out, we'll definitely give you the love back. So.
Well, that is awesome. Oh, man, I love it, man. I love the great things you're doing. I definitely want to stay in touch with you.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely stay in touch. Maybe we can, we'll get another call here in the next few months and before the launch is going, and I'll get, fill you in some more. I'm really excited. We just signed a pro athlete. He plays for the Atlanta Falcons. So we just signed him on the team 2 days ago.
Nice.
So, yeah, I can't say his name yet, but I will officially announce it, like I said, on Instagram, planet_protein, very soon.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Mike. I will I'll talk to you in the future. Appreciate it.
Yep, definitely.
Hey, Brenden. Thanks so much, man. Awesome having you on. Tell you what, everybody, Brenden has got a great thing going, Planet Protein. You've got to check out these protein bars. Help support him. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur myself, and so I just, I really just always love hearing stories about that, about the business, and especially now, in the plant-based vegan world, where people are, taking that spirit, which is what it really is, an entrepreneurial spirit, and putting that out there, to make these products, and that in turn make changes, and add to the market. And like he said, he just said, I'm sitting there eating, some other stuff that just wasn't doing it for him. Plus, like he said, he knew it was loaded up in, some sugars and stuff like that. And he just knew there was a better way. And so he got into the laboratory there and put some time into it and kept going through concoction after concoction and came up with the two awesome flavors they've got now. So again, that you'll be able to check out. But just really admire you, Brenden, for doing that. And I know everyone here looks forward to trying out your bars and supporting your company and supporting your endeavors, and look forward to seeing you blow this thing up huge. And love to hear what you were saying, too, about, the results you see from the plant-based, vegan diet on your workouts, and your lean muscle mass. Because, again, that's, a question, a lot of people will have. Hey, can I gain lean muscle mass? Can I gain strength and all that? And, we've talked about in other episodes, and I'm glad you brought it up. Again, just for people listening to this podcast that are wondering about that, the answer is yes. I mean, it's a definite yes. And the nice thing is, it'll be, you can be leaned out as well. So you get more defined as well, when you're on this type of eating. Plus sharing your super secret smoothie. I'm going to put this in the show notes, everybody, but for those who want to write it down, you got 2 dates. Throw those in there. Throw some hemp heart in there. A little bit of salt, a little bit of water. Start mixing it up. Throw a little bit of hemp seed in there. Then mix in some mangoes, spinach, kale. Put it all together. It rocks. It's awesome. It gets you jacked up. Gets you rocking and rolling and rolling. That's something else there from Brenden. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, Brenden, thanks so much for coming on and just sharing your story for everybody to listen to. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening. As always, find out more at vegantourguide.com. Give us some feedback. vegantourguide@gmail.com. Find us everywhere at, Vegan Tour Guide on Twitter, Vegan Tour Guide on Instagram, all the spots, Facebook. Find us there. Follow us, also our videos that we're putting up. Got those going on Facebook, on the Vegan Tour Guide page on Facebook as well. Again, love hearing from you. Thanks so much for sharing this podcast with others. Get a lot of feedback from people that, they, found this podcast and heard me via someone recommending it or forwarding a link on. So really appreciate that. And again, it's just, it's provide the information out there for everybody so we can spread this community, if you will, and just spread it to everybody. And also bring knowledge, just so people can find out how they can do, a plant-based vegan, diet, lifestyle, if you will. And like, Brenden and I were talking about, it isn't that hard. A lot of people think it is. And that's the goal of my show, is to break it down where, no, it's not that hard, because I just want people to know that it's very feasible and nowhere near as hard as, a lot of times people think it is. So I love getting that point across and love bringing people on so you hear their stories, that through their stories, that comes across. And that's the point, is, all kinds of different people. I love having different types of people on so that something they say will resonate with somebody in the audience listening. That is always the biggest point, is that that it's for everybody, not just, one size fits all, that everybody can do a plant-based vegan diet. So again, just thanks so much for tuning in. As always, I want to give a big shout out to Pat Flynn for the information and inspiration for the podcast, and to bensound.com for the use of the audio. And everybody, until next time, live Pura Vida.